like stick foundation? Were you thrilled with or disappointed by the latest release from Charlotte Tilbury? Are you trying to figure out if the Tom Ford stick foundation is even for sale anymore? Did you like Fenty until it slid off your face? You're going to find out the answers to that and more today with me, Rebecca. I am a 20-year veteran of fashion and beauty journalism, and I have created Not Fit for Print Beauty here as a sort of beauty magazine that you can kind of figuratively flip through here on YouTube. I have taken today 7 of the most, it took a while, I had to go back and look through your comments, 7 of the most asked about stick foundations. And I'm going to rank them all, taking those 7 that you asked me about the most, rank them from my least to most favorite. It will also let me give you an update in how I wear them, what I think about them, especially that new Charlotte Tilbury Unreal Skin, because I've been able to play with it for days and days longer even than my review. But, you know, please check out my review. I will put all that at the end of this video. Okay? All right, let's get started here. Please note that everything is in the description bar linked for sale. You can also look on screen, and that the ones that YouTube Shopping has, you can click on screen. It doesn't even take you out of the video, and you can shop while you watch. So in terms of stick foundation, it's always been a clever thing to have. You can throw it in your bag for touch-ups. You can travel with it easily. But the thing about stick foundations is they are, well, they're cream, and the coverage and the reliability. It's almost like stick foundation errs on one side or the other. It's either so slick that it melts off the skin, or it's so thick that it drags on the skin, and it tends to be one or another. I do have one here of the 7 you guys asked me about that I think is darn near perfect, but I am ranking them. So I did. I went on, there's a lot of great stick foundations. From Hourglass to Bobbi Brown, there are great foundation sticks or stick foundations out there. These are the ones you've asked me about the most. So most of them are pretty recent, and some of them are iconic. So I'm going to take them and rank them. My least favorite of the ones you asked me about, you're going to know it if you've been watching, because I just dislike this one intensely. It is the newest stick foundation from Anastasia Beverly Hills. It is called the Beauty Balm Serum Boosted Skin Tint. I just featured this in the second edition of my video called Makeup, of my series called Makeup. I just didn't like it. It's $42. It comes in 16 shades. It is one of the newest releases. Well, you're going to see quite a few of them up here like this, and a lot of foundations this summer are being released that are very light or sheer to light. So when you don't put a lot of them on, they're very sheer to light. It winds up, and a lot of people say like a deodorant, and I can't disagree. I find this one really patchy. I think it slides in some areas and then sticks in others. I think it's unreliable, and it is hard to predict whether you're going to have a good day with it or a bad day. It is not one I would recommend. You guys do ask me about it a lot, and I have to tell you, I can't in good conscience recommend it. What's really funny about foundation of any kind, especially stick foundation, is for as many people as you find that love a product, you're probably going to find as many people that hate it. We all have different skin types and skin concerns. But this one, I just don't really see anyone getting along with, unless they have an extreme loyalty to Anastasia Beverly Hills. To me, the brand is hot and cold. Or unless they really are not picky. If you're the least bit picky, I don't even think of myself as that picky. It didn't know whether to slip off my face, to pixelate on my face, or to gather in spots that I didn't even know were dry before. So I'm going to give it a big boo. I want to talk about how thick these are. This one says that it has sheer to light natural coverage. I think it had light medium, and it's just, I don't even know if I can consider it. One of the thickest ones on here, and this one is interesting. I don't love this foundation, but I can really work with it and make it look really nice, and that is Merit the Minimalist. So the Minimalist stick from Merit is $38 and comes in 20 shades. Everybody talks about this. This is medium coverage. I mean, it's buildable, but you know, when it's happiest, it's medium. It also has a natural finish. It also can be a concealer for a number of reasons. Well, first of all, because it has the type of tip that would make it easy to use as a concealer. It can also be, most all of these really can be a concealer, especially if they're medium coverage. This could also be, if you got it in a darker shade, it can even bronze or contour. You know, it can do a nose contour if you got a darker shade. It's good for that. The thing about this, in its medium coverage, it is very thick. My only problem with it is that I think I have very normal skin. It's suggestible. If I really never moisturize, it can go a bit dry. If I over moisturize, it'll go oily in a moment. But for the most part, it's normal. And I think pretty much anyone, even those of you who tend to have oilier skin, you need something underneath it. I only use this Merit product with the Merit oily stuff underneath, you know, the serum underneath. I really like that serum. It's very nice. If that's under it, this is a pleasure to put on. If not, I do feel that this drags and can look thick and can just sit on the skin. But if you put something under it, it doesn't have to be the Merit product, but if you put something under it, it needs that slip. If you are oily, you probably don't want to use a serum. You want to use something, just maybe a moisturizer. I just don't know anyone who doesn't do better with this product when it's got something under it. And some of you don't like that extra step, but it's something to consider. If you have this product and you just find yourself never using it because it's hesitant, put something under it. You'll like it a lot more. I do like it when I wear it. A lot of people ask me about Basma. Do you remember this product? This is from quite a few seasons ago. It was released at Sephora. It's kind of memorable because of its pink metallic packaging. It's $40 and comes in a tremendous 40 shades, but this is more of a full coverage, also natural finish. When they come in less shades, it's generally your indication. For instance, like the Anastasia Beverly Hills, it comes in 16 shades versus 40. 40 shades lets us know this is going to give us more coverage because the shade has to be more accurate. The thinner and the sheerer, the less shades because they're stretchier. So this one is nice. It drags a little bit and probably needs something under it like the Merit. I liked this when I first used it. I think it spreads on a little bit better and easier than the Merit. So if you don't want to put anything under it, you don't have to. But it hasn't really stood the test of time with me. Part of that psychological gets replaced by the newest and latest and brightest. I admit that. But I just don't reach for it a lot. I didn't end up finding it all that interesting. You know, if I wanted kind of thicker coverage, I could go for Merit. And if I wanted thinner coverage, I could go for some of the others. But I do like the product. I really do, and I don't want to give it a bad reputation. I just kind of somehow lost interest in it, and I can admit that. My head is turned by the new just as much as anyone else out there. All right, this is one I mentioned at the beginning, and I like this product, but let me tell you why a lot of people don't. This is the Fenty Ease Drop Stick Foundation. This comes in 25 shades. For Fenty, that's very few, so you know it's stretchy. It's $36. It's very light coverage, kind of a medium natural, kind of goes light to medium. Don't prep first with this. This is great if you have dry skin. This is beautiful. It glides on the skin so beautifully. If you do a first impression and you compare this to Merit, you would never use the Merit because the Merit would drag and this one just goes on the skin. That problem is, and as we head into, in this hemisphere, warmer and hotter months, and depending on your climate, this is going to be on your shirt by the end of the day. I'm kidding, but not really. It's going to slide off your face. I think it's a beautiful, fun product. I wear it when it's going to be warm out and I need to look pretty for 3 hours, you know. I wouldn't put this on unless maybe you're in a really air-conditioned office. But if you need to go all day, I think it's going to slip. It's going to need a lot of powder. The application on this is beautiful. Like if you compare it to the Merit, which is so much thicker, to apply, this one isn't as fun, but you'll like the result and the lasting coverage. This one applies like a dream, but 4 hours later, talk to me then, especially if you're in the heat. Okay, it's really, really slippery, but it's pretty. It's just, it doesn't really last. Speaking of not lasting and pretty, but very slippery. So that was 7 through 4. Here are my top 3. Number 3, I'm going to go ahead and put the one I'm wearing now. And that is the Charlotte Tilbury, don't get upset with me, Unreal Skin Sheer Glow Tint. I've played with this for quite a few days. I gave it a thumbs up on my review. Many people don't. I'll tell you why I like it. I'll tell you what the problems with it are. I have worn it for now 5 days straight. Comes in 20 shades, $46. Easy to get on, just like the Fenty. A little bit more coverage, stays a little bit more. Really great at erasing redness. Definitely a shiny look, but please remember it is called a glow tint. But I think it powders down nicely. I do not think it emphasizes pores to the extent that anything shiny doesn't. I mean, I think it could make it a lot worse. I don't feel my pores were emphasized, and I do have large pores. You would expect a glowing product to make that a lot worse, and I don't believe it does. It is very, very glowy. The people that have complaints about it, I understand this, don't like how glowy it is. She did not call this the Unreal Skin Matte Foundation. She called it the Skin Sheer Glow Tint. It is supposed to be very shiny. It powders down nicely in the T-zone, etc., etc. It can be used because it gets rid of kind of discoloration and redness. It can actually function as a concealer, but you are going to have a very shiny look. I am wearing it today, sans powder. It doesn't go that shiny on me, but if you do not want a kind of glowy look for summer, you won't like this. I don't find that it slides off the face after a few hours like the Fenty. It's easier to apply than the Merit. I don't find that it goes patchy. Maybe at first, but it doesn't continually go patchy like this Anastasia one. I really do like it, but I understand its limitations. Its limitations are that it is very glowy and some people just don't like that look. Fair enough. And its limitations are that it's got very light coverage. It's buildable, but it's not going to get past light, really. Okay? And so that's what I want you to keep in mind. But if you don't mind glowy, I mean, it's not a bad product. See, when I compare it to something, here's my criteria. This isn't highlighting pores. This isn't sliding off my face. What people don't like it for, it's like saying, I don't like chocolate cake because it's chocolate. I can't help you there. So if you don't like a glowy face product, then you won't like this. Okay? But nobody is like, give me a product that emphasizes pores and builds up in areas and looks chunky and pixelates on the skin. That's bad. Okay? This one, the only negative is that it's kind of really glowy. But I think it stands the test of time in a wear test, and I do think it's pretty. It's just really glowy. Okay, my top two. You probably guessed what my favorite is. Take a moment, if you haven't yet, and guess what my favorite is. We were actually going to talk a little bit about stick foundations over on my Facebook group. Helen is working really hard over there getting that Facebook group together, and it's coming together so beautifully. We have such great conversations over there. I'd love to see you there. The information is in the description bar, and I will be asking them what their favorite stick foundations are and which ones they hate. Because whenever we get to be negative, it's just more fun. I know, it's just more fun. We also have a paid membership group for less than $5 a month here on YouTube. I lead that group every week with lives, and we have a lot of fun. So I'd love to see you there for that as well. Okay, top two. Guess what my top number one is? You've probably guessed already. But number two might surprise you. That's the Ilia Skin Rewind. This is a $48 product with 42 shades, medium coverage, buildable, natural. Some people say a little hard to blend. I don't think so. I think if you have dry skin, just a little bit of skin prep would be great. I think it's pretty. I like the coverage. I don't find it patchy. I do think it needs a little bit of skin prep to it. Nothing like the Merit, but I think it goes on easier than the Merit. A little bit harder to put on than the Fenty, but it's going to get rid of that glow because it's a very natural coverage and really light medium to medium if you build it. So I think it might be the best of all worlds. It doesn't have a scent. I think it might be the best of all worlds for people who are looking to try. It's going to be closest to, frankly, a regular liquid foundation in terms of the look of it and the price. $48. It's expensive, but it's not. The next product is a lot more expensive. It just needs a little bit of skin prep, not like the Merit needs. Doesn't go patchy, the right amount of coverage. It's kind of perfect, really. I really like this Ilia stick. You can weigh in on what you think about it, okay? It gets rid of that crazy glowiness that people object to in the Charlotte. So this one came and went. It's relatively new. It came and went so quickly, it's a shame. So the Thickest, we're going to do my favorite in a minute here. The Thickest that you guys asked me about is the Merit. Everybody asks about that. How do you use it? You got to have something under it. The Thinnest is the Fenty. So thin it won't be there after a few hours. But my favorite has a limitation. I'll tell you in a minute. It has a few limitations. My favorite is by far, hands down, the best foundation stick ever created, in my opinion. It has not, it's almost deserves its own category. Is the Tom Ford Traceless Foundation Stick. some good things and some problems. Problem is it's $90. That's a problem. That's expensive. Other problem is the darn thing being taken out of the lineup at Tom Ford or not? We don't know. Every time I see a sale or I see 3 shades left somewhere, I think, oh, they're taking it away from us. And then the next week it's restocked. I don't know. And this happens with Tom Ford products a lot. And of course, recently in the past year or so, Tom Ford has stepped down. Estee Lauder has taken more control. I don't think that's as big of a problem as a lot of people think. A lot of people want to think that Estee Lauder is like the boogeyman. Woo, we'll now ruin your brand. Why would they do that? All right, so I think that does happen sometimes, but it's one of those things. When a creator steps away entirely, sometimes things go downhill, because no one's watching over it the same way. So I don't think that Estee Lauder sets out to like throw grenades into their own brands. Honestly, I don't. But I think this is beautiful. It's just the right amount of coverage. It blends so easily. And when you're wearing it, you really feel like you're wearing a liquid foundation. That's how pretty it is. But it's got that ease of a stick, travels easily, and it's a little expensive, but it doesn't have a weird scent to it. It just applies easily. You can do skin prep. You can forget the skin prep. It lasts all day. It builds. It's got just the right amount of coverage. So this one is the true perfect one, if it still exists. I'm linking it at quite a few stores, and I'll try to get it up here on screen if YouTube Shopping has it. You never know. On screen here, YouTube Shopping, all the ones I have, I'll just leave up there. But everything else will be in the description bar as well. I just think that Ilia is your best bet for like an everyday Sephora find. And the Tom Ford, if you can get it in your shade and it still exists, it does right now, but who knows? It's perfection. It's just $90. The Charlotte is a great one. It's in my top 3. It's really lovely. It's just going to be real glowy, And the others, you can play with. But, Merit is a real soldier. It really works hard, but, it's fussier. But these top 3, the Charlotte, the Ilia, and the Tom Ford, as long as you keep those concerns that I mentioned in mind, these are my favorites. I think they'll serve you really well for travel this summer. I think you'll enjoy them by the pool. I think you can use them for touch-ups, and I think you'd be really happy with them. Those are my top 3 picks of these 7 that you guys routinely ask me about. Which ones did I leave out? As I mentioned, we've got Bobbi Brown stick and Hourglass are 2 that just come to mind real quickly, but there's a lot of other ones. So let me know your questions below on other brands, and I'll let you know what my experience is with them. I mean, this is what makes us a community. So let me know all of these things down below and ask your questions, and come on over to our Facebook group and answer as well. Make sure that you subscribe, as that helps my channel grow, and I look forward to seeing all of you in the next video. Bye-bye.